All right. Good morning, guys. Um, like always, something always strange happens with. I schedule one live show for 11, and what happens? You when you schedule, there's a red button you can press and start right away from when you've done it. And you wait till the next day when you open, they'll be ready for live chat. My scheduling, it's not working as I thought it would be. So I have to practically do another live turn on for the app in order to talk to you. It shouldn't happen because when you schedule, somebody else would press and wait for it, to be notified. But even if they do, I cannot use this app that it's already set up in advance. Kind of a weird thing. But I've never been computer savvy. But as I said, it's strange because it's supposed to be fine, but it's not. I said I do not understand YouTube as my uh, how the computer how the this thing works there. Anyway, the as you see the what I wrote there. It's about Quora. I was active and I still active in Quora for a very long time. I have 320 almost 325 thousand contest views. I mean content views. Only for this month, I have about 5,000 and a half. There is spaces which are uh, dedicated only for the uh, gang stalking. Okay, so the gang stalking, as as I said, it's Haikokin Steiner gang stalking. I have a lot of stuff written there, but it's not a promotion for Quora. But when I deal in Quora and write something, sometimes it gives me interesting ideas because uh, there's a lot of people. What Quora is, they will post a question, and a lot of people start answering. And the uh, in my specific time when I was really active on Quora, I was in this um, gang stalking forum. I was considered one of the number one or number two writer. So now they removed this thing, and I don't know how I classified there under what number, but it doesn't matter because a lot of people are reading all the time because the 5,500 people for this month only, and it's only going on. It's only half a month past. So I will talk today about uh, stuff that I wrote specifically um, uh, a while ago here, and the people when we're gang stalked, there's a lot of people that will be really skeptical about your mm, gang stalking. By the way, I see somebody left, so I'm talking to zero people today, which kind of sucks. Anyway, I will read this first then about um, you know people who are skeptical, and some of them will even call you that you are kind of a nutcase. And the I will do some stuff about. We'll read some stuff here that I wrote in Quora about the former Soviet Union and KGB or predecessors of KGB, what they were doing in order to shut people up. It's tea. So I will start. In the former Soviet Union, there was a system set up to affect people who are being trapped and gang stalked. The mental institutions could create a diagnosis of mental illness that would correspond with stages of entrapment of a person. In the 1930s, in early 1930s, the predecessor of KGB, it's called NKVD, uh, um, they invented a sickness, specific sickness, that they would apply to people that being trapped, and uh, they named the sickness. It's called sluggish schizophrenia, meaning a slow developing schizophrenia, like sluggish, dragging. When the KGB would use it as a tool to mental detention of people, okay, or target individuals. So not just that, the genetics of this sickness, explanation of the genetics of the sickness would target the offspring of the target individuals, like children or relatives, and so on. The With the explanation, like, if, for instance, for children, if parents were crazy, it means you're going to be crazy as well, and they can apply force to children. Okay. Sometimes this was one of the reasons the children participated in gang stalking and betrayal of their own parents. Okay. In 1980s, let's jump to 1980s, during Cold War, the physical attacks on targeted individuals were actually stopped because a lot of people in the West at the time were fighting for human rights, including human rights of some people behind the Iron Curtain. And I'm so sorry somebody left. Now I said again, I'm talking again to 0 people, which is horrible. Anyway, I hope when I'm done, you can look at it and by video and leave messages. Okay. So then in the 80s, as I said, when the physical attacks were down, and to dissidents and so on, they would introduce some kind of opiates that will look, the target individual after taking this type of opiates will look as crazy people. Okay. It depends on the dose, and depends on the dose was behavior, with strange behavior, odd behavior of people that took this medicines would last from a few hours to a couple of days. And usually they were done this thing was done in order to create an image of targeted individual to be, as I said, sick mentally. And in Soviet Union and former Eastern European countries, it was called punishable psychiatry, something like this. It's the psychiatrist by itself. The psychiatry was used against targeted individual as a tool. And so, for instance, if you a targeted individual, right? For instance, it's 1980s. For instance, you're a targeted individual in former Soviet Union. You would go. You have friends. You go to parties, and for instance, you go to parties, and through a drink or through food, you being given those type of medicine that would make you look strange. You start behaving really strange, and they would introduce you to another. That people who are against targeted individual would introduce you to a group of people, and when you already have those medicines in you, you start behaving oddly, and in a few minutes, there would be somebody next to a person, not next to target individual, that would lead him into a conversation while target individuals is on drugs, and it would create an image of target individuals, as I said, as a nutcase. And this is how the reputation of people was ruined. through medicine. And uh, practically, as I said, the person was introduced to people to see, and a lot of people don't know that he's being targeted or she being targeted. And in the end, they would consider this person to be simply sick. And because they themselves, people who are around target individual, they don't know that he's targeted, and and they would just simply accept as he is. He was simply poisoned. So, and in the future, those people would not kind of they have to separate from this person because they said, he's a nutcase. We don't want to deal with this guy. And the I would suggest when you have when you're targeted, I would suggest if you're young, especially if you're young and you try to go there to have social life and so on. So to be very careful. My opinion, simply don't drink. That's all, because you can. This is the easiest way to uh, get you to make you look sick. Um, so this is one of my writings on Quora that I had. Um, the other, let's see what's. I can maybe show you a second thing. This was about poisonings. How do you? So, question I have Quora: how do you get involved with people online? I will tell you directly. I do not get involved with people online. Um, I don't get involved with people online. Just period. No dating, no investments. So, okay. Um, mm, how do you stop? This is the questions I had on Quora. Some people send direct questions to me on Quora when they post question in general on Quora, and they would click on my name, and I will get the question, and I can answer it. How do you stop being paranoid about smear campaign? What is the difference between normal suspicious of people talking about you behind you and general paranoia? Smear campaign will be thing you go hand to hand. It's going to go hand to hand with you. It's part of making you look stupid, evil, or so on. It's done on purpose to put you on a mental state where you can make a mistake, because it's usually, as I said, like paranoid person doesn't think straight. Okay. Um, so if you're gonna start feeling much better when you accept smear campaign as kind of in a way form of blessing. As long as you are not in jail or in your good health, they will do it again and again. So you have to accept if you have smear campaigns, somebody will always talk garbage about you. Most of the time, some people will talk and not just garbage. They will try to do something that you look like an idiot or cretin of any type of stuff. Anyway, going further. All right. How common is it for people to have multiple stalkers at once? Um, well, in my opinion, if you see multiple gang stalkers, it's done on purpose for you to see them. If you have surveillance, you will not see them at all. It means those are surveillance actors that simply are that want to piss you off. Okay, just for you to make you start feeling nervous, and you will behave in a way that they will harvest your reaction in order to just uh, get you in bad situations. Okay. Um, so how can you tell if you're being? Um, Why the gang stalkers mirror everything targeted individuals have said or done? Is it the way you? Well, if it's the way as you think it happens, it's very seldom situation. They do not mimic everything. They will mimic some of your behavior. Over the period of your gang stalking, you will realize that your identity is in jeopardy, and hijacking of identity is a violent version of identity fraud. That's why maybe you will see mimicking is part at the beginning of identity hijacking. It's a really bad thing. Okay. Uh, so this is an interesting question. What is the purpose of targeted individuals being marked since birth? Well, um, I think it's eugenics. It's marked since birth. It means that somebody wants to stop your bloodline. That's exactly another question which was sent to me. Is being stalked considered identity theft? It's kind of a weird question, but being stalked when you are having your identity stolen, it's a normal thing. This is how they operate. Um, so it's possible in the in the future sometimes when you realize you have identity fraud, uh, because when you're stalked, there is a reason to be stalked, and some of the reasons it's identity hijacking, identity fraud, simply because the identity threat is a big business now. Um, with the law enforcement tightening possibility of identity fraud by making uh, better ID documents and so on, so on, the gang stalkers will use some techniques on you in order to steal identities. And well, I answer a few stuff that I had on Quora. Um, I will just suggest you to go to Spaces for gang stalking on Quora. It's a really good place. There's so many people that are ask questions or share information about identity, but not just identity fraud. I'm talking about gang stalking. I'm sorry. So I'm here almost 18 minutes. Unfortunately, um, there was only one person for a while. Then they left. So this is it. Then you have a good day. Thank you.